You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
What I say is what I say. And honestly, Megyn, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
So that was Megyn Kelly during the Republican. When I see it, I just think, oh my Lord, Republican primary debates taking on the man who would become our next president. She opens up about tangling with Trump and other difficult men in her life in her new book, Settle for More. Please welcome the amazing and fabulous Megyn Kelly.
I love that moment so much. I just can watch it over and over again.
And you have.
Yeah.
I think everybody's got it memorized by now.
Almost, just about. It was kind of fabulous, you have to admit. And it's been more than a week since you became president-elect.
Just keep saying it over and over.
It'll come easier in time. But, you know, he's called you some same names he's called me. Crazy, sick. He never called me a bimbo, so you got that on me.
Because you're blonde.
So what went through your head on election night when you saw...
On election night?
Yeah. When it was like, oh, snap.
Well, I, like everyone else in the media, had been looking at the polls, which had suggested, you know, it was going to come out differently.
Yeah.
So I was just as surprised as anybody.
Right.
Yeah. There was a moment around 9 o'clock that evening. I'm sitting on the set, and Brett Baer's to my right, and Chris Wallace is to my left. And Chris Wallace was the one to say, I think we might actually be coming to the realization that Donald Trump may be the next president of the United States.
Yeah.
And it really was one of those, like, I think he's right.
Wow.
So it wasn't, you know, I know people who see that moment think I must have been like, oh, no.
No.
But I wasn't. I honestly, as a reporter, I was like, this is going to be so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, this is going to be far more interesting to cover.
Yeah.
Megyn, at the top of the segment, we saw at that debate some of the tension between you and Donald Trump. But many of us know that tension started long before that actual moment. Tell me a little bit about how this began, how you've been feeling through it, and where did this come from on his end?
So this is one of the things I reveal in Settle for More, which is the prequel to that debate question. And it involves Donald Trump just getting angry with me for a segment I had done on the Kelly file the week before the debate. He was very ticked off about a story we had done about his divorce from Ivana Trump, which was kind of interesting because I was actually kind of defending him in the segment, but he just didn't want it getting any airtime. So he insisted that I call him that Monday before the Thursday presidential debate, or otherwise he wasn't going to come on my show that Monday night. I called him, and he was not happy with me. And it ended in him saying, I almost unleashed my beautiful Twitter account against you, and I still may. Ooh. And, you know, now as the world knows, he did.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a tumultuous year by any standard, but I feel like we came out of it all right. He and I are in a better place. You know, I do feel like we should, even if there's difficulty coming to grips with the fact that he's won by so many.
Oh, no, I just have difficulty saying it.
But I do feel like we owe it to him and to our country to stand behind him and hope for the best and root for him and hope that the presidency, that, you know, the incredible majesty, if you will, of that office will appeal to his
there is
better
a place
angels.
for the loyal opposition also, which I consider myself.
Which you are leading.
Yeah, I mean.
No, that's all part of it.
That's right. Yeah. So in the middle of all the craziness, and you know, you interviewed Donald Trump at Trump Tower. I saw that interview, and I thought, well, he had threatened you. His supporters had threatened you. Your daughter was scared that some harm would come to you, and yet I was a little disappointed in you that you didn't say to him, Donald, I'm getting threats from your supporters. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that?
You know, if you read the book, you'll sort of see it fold out. Because a lot of people, I would say in particular, people who are more left-leaning, didn't like that interview because they really wanted to see me give it to him and, like, sort of call him out on some of the sexist comments and so on. And what I was trying to do with the sit-down at Trump Tower and the interview that followed, it was an off-ramp from a year of severe threats. And I mean, real danger.
So you didn't want to confront him.
I was looking to get him to stand down, Joy. And
okay.
what
That's
became
fair.
clear to me after a year of that behavior was 9 months. No one was going to stand him down but me. You know, my boss at the time had tried to get him to knock it off unsuccessfully. My friend Sean Hannity had tried to, and he's obviously tight with Trump and was then. He worked behind the scenes to try to lower the temperature. You know, it was just incredible to me how much anger there was over a debate question. A debate question that if you had looked at Trump's history, anybody could have seen was going to come at him in the general if he was against Hillary. And so no one could get him to stand down. And so for me, it was an empowering moment because I just resolved that I was going to be the one to do it. I was going to walk into Trump Tower. We were going to sit down together, and he was going to stop the nonsense. And we had a very good meeting. And he did stop the nonsense.
Oh, he did. He did.
And he did.
Well, that's
and
good.
you are a tough lady, and I know this because we worked together at Fox News and went head to head
Miss you.
all the time. So I miss you too. So it's striking to me that he bullied you. He basically bullied you, and that's been an experience in your lifetime that you talk about in your book.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, the book has gotten a lot of press for the stories about Donald Trump and the stories about Roger Ailes, my boss. But those are basically 2 or 3 chapters in the book. And the 20 chapters that are the heart of the book are about, I think, empowerment, the value of hard work, the value of radical honesty. And I think it's in particular going to be a great book for women because it's about pulling yourself up through difficult situations and embracing some of the natural adversities of life as opportunities to grow. And my experience has been that 1 year of bullying I had in the 7th grade, which was brutal. I had no friends. I had, it was just, it culminated in a moment where I was alone in my home on a Saturday night with my parents, and they were having a party. The head bully was having a party. And they called up, and she said, "Do you know where all the people from my party are?" And I said, "No." And they all screamed into the phone, "We're here.
Little mean girls.
We're here." And I just went out in my backyard in upstate New York. There was snow on the ground. It had been iced over, and I skated on top of the snow, just crying, just feeling so alone and so unlikable, which I think everyone has felt at some point in their life. It's terrible to
Well,
think
you
that.
showed them, Megyn.
How do you make me now? The point is, adversity like that, I believe, is an opportunity to grow. And if you don't do those crunches, you're never going to have a strong core. Okay? So when you get gut punched, later in life by anybody, including a president, you can take it.
See, it's going to take everybody a while to get it. We ever say.